Welcome to this week's episode of Seeds of Gold. Today we are in Buvi, Nakauka, where we meet a group of farmers doing what no other farmer has done. Practice mixed farming with the main aim of feeding vulnerable people around the area, most especially the refugees and some nationals that are in need. The main thing grown here are passion fruits and pine. So I guess one would say the gold in this seed is divine.
We deal with refugees who get food from this place.
And the good thing with it, you don't harvest only once.
The Hope of Children and Women Victims Organization is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to providing assistance and support to children and women who have been affected by conflict and displacement. Interestingly enough, they have an agriculture arm, which is a beacon of hope for vulnerable refugees and nationals. This initiative was born out of a deep desire to empower these communities by providing them with the tools and resources necessary to build sustainable livelihoods.
Over 100,000 beneficiaries tap into this farm, and today we meet Jacqueline and Hindu, who spearhead this team. They will be taking us through their enterprise and help us understand it in detail.
In this farm, we put it there to help vulnerable people who don't have what to eat. And we have a number of 100 beneficiaries who benefit in things which we have here in this farm.
We deal with refugees from South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, and the host community. We have beneficiaries in the project who are the victims of violence. You know, refugees come from their countries when they are not well prepared, whereby you find that when they come to the country, they find a lot of challenges. We found that refugees lack a lot of vegetables, they lack food, so we try to look for the grant from Slovenian ministry through FERA from Slovenia, which has helped many of our refugees to access food in this farm.
We have here passion fruits. It has taken 7 months, and within 7 months we have harvested 15 bags. And now these passion fruits we always give to our beneficiaries so that they can look healthy, but part of it we do sell so that we can sustain our farm. After 2 months we always harvest. In a month we pick like 7 bags. We use cow dung, and sometimes we use the residues, the manure which we get from the house of the hens.
On this farm that sits on 5 acres, different enterprises have been put in order to maximize the use of the land. It is still a growing farm, and sure, the future is bright.
In our farm we have very many fruits. We have there oranges, we have jackfruits, we have pineapples. So we planted these because our beneficiaries, they don't have money to buy fruits, yet fruits are good for our health. That's when we decided to put also fruits in our farm, like oranges, pineapples, so that we can also be giving to them to improve on their health.
Recently, a strong wind hit the passion fruit garden, and unfortunately, a big loss was incurred as the entire place fell apart. The farm was definitely not left the same.
They all fell down, but luckily enough, we got some people, some beneficiaries. They came, we bought the strong poles, we tried to put them up. So it affected us because some passion fruits which were old, they fell down, but we are lucky that now they are again strong.
When you invest in farming, you do not regret. Jacqueline shares her thoughts.
We started with 3 millions, but our land is ours. So that one was to buy poles, to buy ropes, to buy the seedlings, to buy also some nails, so that we make like a standing space for the passion fruits. The advice I give to the fellow women or some people around there about passion fruits. Passion fruit is something which has market, and it takes time. You keep on harvesting, then after some time you keep on harvesting, so it gives enough money for a period of time. So I advise people who have enough land, who can get some little money to start, to at least plant passion fruits, because I've seen that when you plant it well, you put strong poles, it can give a lot of money. And the good thing with it, you don't harvest only once. You keep on harvesting, so long as you give it manure and enough water.
Hindu is the agriculture supervisor of Hope of Children and Women Victims of Violence. She is here to give us an account on what they are doing on this farm to ensure good yields in order to feed and take care of the vulnerable people through agriculture.
We try to plant those pines so that they can help us to meet other needs, whereby you find refugees have a lot of challenges. They lack school fees, some of them lack accommodation. So we try to put that business for pine so that we can be getting some money to fulfill the needs that we cannot fulfill from the vegetables that we always give. At times you find children are not going to school, but when we sell this pine, that's where we can generate some income for paying their school fees, meeting their basic necessities like medication, clothing, and others. In the long run, we shall benefit and we expect to get a lot out of it.
By doing so, they have created an opportunity for these communities to become self-sufficient and improve their standard of living.
It has not been so hard for us to grow the pine because we have irrigation system whereby even if it is sunny or rainy, we could get access to water so that to irrigate the seedlings. In around 4 years, we expect to start getting money out of the pine.
This organization's commitment is unmatched. They are trying to set up more enterprises to serve the people better, such as dairy farming, pineapples on a large scale, fish farming, and so much more.
We have 2 ponds. One is 15 by 30 feet. We are having 1,500 fish or fingerlings. And we have the second, which is having 30 feet. It is having 3,000 fish. We expect to have them in a period of 8 to 7 months. They will be ready for our beneficiaries to consume. Our fish we don't sell. As I told you, we deal with refugees. They are those who cannot access fish, yet it is part of our food that someone has to take. And remember, we deal with victims of violence, whereby we try to put for them fish, whereby at least every family will be able to access a fish from the pond. We have banana plantation. Since we deal with refugees, we deal with 70% refugees and 30% the host community, which I can say the nations. Because you can't give a service to refugees, yet we have the host people also suffering. So we also try to plant for them, and we planted matoke. Though those are not used to take matoke, but at least they try to learn. But at least the host community can also benefit out of the matoke. We also have a kraal for the cattle. Now we have 2. One is pregnant. We expect it to deliver in a period of 5 months. And another one is still fresh. We also have poultry, only that it is out of stock. We have just distributed it to our beneficiaries.
The organization's solution uses the skills within the community to create low-cost solutions to a challenging problem. To them, it is important to keep the community healthy long enough to give the health professionals time to find solutions like treatment and vaccines, which is why most of these enterprises on the farm are immune-boosting fruits and vegetables. This farm simply is an inspiring example of how a dedicated group of individuals can come together to make a positive impact in this dark world.
We will go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we meet Godfrey Chigoye, an agribusiness consultant, and he might just give us the expert opinion. Welcome back to this edition of Expert Opinion.
With integrated farming, basically, if we are to consider of what is here, we looked at the passion fruit. People out there, I would urge you to go into passion fruit because it's a venture today that pays. You know, if you are to go into farming, you need to go into things that pay. In fact, I also have a saying that says, I work where it pays. If you planted, say, an acre where we put roughly 700 plants, it depends on the spacing. It depends on the fertility of the soil. Other factors apply. But on a standard plant or spacing, where one can plant 10 by 10, you put in 450. If you put 8 by 8, or 6 by 6, it can increase to 700 to 800, it depends. But me commercially, I would love, don't go beyond 700. But if you squeeze too much, it will give you more work. For you out there who knows passion fruit growing most, you know what we call a kubech cola, to reduce on the leaves. When you squeeze one another, spacing close to another, it causes you to frequently visit the plantation to reduce on the flower leaves so that we can give it light. Then, other issues, we need to look at the fertility of the soil. When you are to plant, like after planting, come 2 months, start applying some fertility to boost on what you did put when you are planting, by the time we are establishing the project. If you want a slopy land, make sure that you put some contours to avoid some bit of erosion that can take your manure. Disease control, make sure that at least you make sure that you spray with some fungicides and the pesticides. Like these days we consider using dudacillin or oselemactin. We can use also what we call lidomil. We can use dithen. Know where you get your drugs. If you don't mind, you go to Bukola. When you visit Bukola, especially when you visit their main branches, they even an expert there to guide you what to use. Oranges can also grow very well here on our soils. It is known of coming from Soroti. It's known of coming from the West Nile there, but still within the central here we can grow. You will see if we use sand, you know what it needs is just the good aerated soil. What I urge you people out there, if you are to get money in farming, plant things that has market, and the market that starts from where? From your doorway. When now we talk about matoke here, matoke within the first 9 months, if you planted a big size, don't take a small size, okay, call it a year, you will get the first production of matoke. Second production from one stool, you get 2 of them or 3. So other businesses like a pineapple is good. If you plant a sucker, it takes 18 months. That's 1.5 years, close to 2 years, take it 2 years. Then you get the first pineapple. But after getting the first pineapple, you get it every after 8 months, you get a pineapple. Because after giving out the pineapple like this, it gives shoots to the suckers. You leave the 2 most healthy ones, they can give you 2. Then you keep like that. But management, agronomic practices, you mean you need to sprinkle use some coffee husks. For those that are growing rice, you can use rice husks. They need some, if you put such a cover, it suffocates the weeds, because they don't do better where there is a lot of competition. They need to be free from weeds. So that's why we use a lot of, if we can have litter from after getting, harvesting your chicken, you can put it there. That one can also help you. So pineapple, sometimes you may need to test the pH of the soil, because the pH of the soil determines the sweetness of that pineapple. That's why you see people are saying, the pineapple that comes from Minyinya, Masaka, is sweet. The one that comes from Luwero, there's a place in Luwero, is sweet. Because the one that comes from Kisi is sweet. Because the texture there, the pH there, is good for the pineapples. So others, like a fish, an Anthony pond, it is a pond where we dig, we put out some soil to the bands, or call them dikes, and then we get an area that where water all collects. Then it has what we call an inlet, so that water flows in to facilitate the free circulation of oxygen, and then should have an exit where the water goes out, so that the dirt, because you know very well that the fish we put in the fish ponds, they don't have toilets, they don't have urinals. It is their urinals, it is their toilets. There is a lot of ammonia they put in the pond that consumes the oxygen. When we are stocking fish and you are going to feed with our commercial feeds, the stocking rate is supposed to be 10 to 20 maximum fish per square meter. So the catfish can grow within the first 6 to 9 months. It can weigh between 500 grams under poor feeding to 1500, 1.5 kilo by 9 months. So it is good. If it is chicken, that is broiler. It grows very fast. By the way, our best market for catfish is Congo and Kenya. So if you have them in number, they can drive to your fish pond. They buy in kilos between 10,000 to 20,000 per kilo. So you see, if one can go for say 15,000 minimum, and you have 12,000, it's a lot of money you can get within the first 9 months. An Anthony pond should be with a maximum of 4 feet at the outlet, and at the other inlet should be 2.5 feet. Should not be beyond your waist, because you need to go in when you are harvesting. We need to do sorting, because they don't grow at the same time like chicken. You need to sort the big ones. These are carnivorous. They eat each other. The smaller size can be eaten by the big size. So you need to do sorting. The first 2 months, you do the first sorting. 4 months, you do another sorting. That's it. You need to do. So that means you need to have more than 1 pond. For you in a town, don't get scared. There is aquaponics. You can have your drum, you can have your dam liner. You get a wooden kind of stuff, a box, you put in a dam liner, you put in your water. A dam liner is a sheet, is a polyethylene sheet that is somehow hard, of about 1 millimeter, 1,000 microns or 500 microns. It's somehow harder to our polyethylene sheets. So you can use that, because when they grow big, they can pierce if you use the other small micron, like a 200 microns. So it's better to use that. So you can have a pump that pumps water up, then flows it back as if now they are getting free circulation of air, and it can serve. Then you grow your fish in town, in your compound yard. That one can do. Then they talked of chicken. For the chicken, I would talk about the broilers or broilers that take short. Within the first 6 weeks to 8 weeks, is out. Like I've heard her saying on the video that they have phased off, they have given out the broilers. Why for them concentrating on broilers, I think it is because short period of time you give the farmers, you give the refugees, they take. So it's also another business out there for you who eat some chomo or chicken, especially my sisters who loves chicken, chips and the chicken. That is the very broiler you eat. Because for it, when you order, it takes just 15 minutes, it's done. But if it is an off layer, it will take a long to get ready. So that gives us a chance that it has market. Whoever starts a restaurant, the first option is to find where to get the broilers. How many restaurants do you have around where you live? You the viewers. There are so many. I can see you just seated near the restaurant. Dust you see they are eating is a broiler. So go and start that business. It takes only 6 weeks. Can you imagine? People say, that takes time. By the time you know it takes time, somebody is getting millions of money. You can start with broilers. When you mobilize cash, you do go to layers. Especially when you are targeting what we call daily income. Layers, when they start laying, it's on a daily basis up to 1.5 years. So every day you have some money in the pocket. So that one counts. We have others like colloiders. They are more or less local. They don't get sick very fast. They grow so very fast. So that one you can also go into that.
Well, that's our show for today. We'll see you again next week. Keep the comments coming in. #NTV Seeds of Gold. Thanks for watching.